With us today, talking about Lawrence Technological University's Research Day. We have Eric Meyer, who is a professor of biomedical engineering. We have Matthew Cole, who's a business professor at LTU. And Matt is sort of the instigator director of Research Day at LTU. And I want to start with Matt. First of all, the Research Day, the big day, is this Friday, April 21st. We have a brief we have a sort of meet the speakers reception that we've invited some folks to Thursday evening, but the big event's on Friday. And there's a couple of things happening in the morning and a couple of things happening in the afternoon. Matt, welcome to the program. And tell us a little bit about the background of Research Day, why LTU started doing this, and what the aims are, and how it's grown over the years.
Great. Yes, thank you. Research Day is a collaboration between all the four colleges at Lawrence Tech. We are going to be doing our 10th annual. And so we started under the auspices of our former president, Verinder Modgill. And the mission was to create an opportunity for faculty and students to collaborate in an interdisciplinary context on their research and scholarship activities. So as you mentioned, we are getting ready to celebrate our 10th annual, and it's the biggest one yet. And we also have started to partner with high schools. So we've got a few high schools that are joining us this year, in addition to the over 140 representative papers and posters from LTU faculty and students. So it's our biggest one yet.
All right, so tell me a little bit about what's happening in the morning. I know there are two major presentations in the morning, one of which is from Eric. We'll get to you, Eric, in just a minute, and then tell me what's going to be happening in the afternoon, too.
Right, so we start in the morning with invited keynote address. Our keynote speaker this year is Dr. Erin Dolan from the University of Georgia, who is a biologist, and her area of expertise is CRE, course-based research experience, which is something that really is one of our brands at Lawrence Tech that we've set out over the last 5 years to actively engage undergraduates in research and scholarship in the classroom. And that's unique to our university. A lot of that kind of impetus was supported financially by a grant from the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. We're the only institution in Michigan that was awarded that grant over the last 5 years, so we're excited about that. So our keynote speaker, Dr. Dolan, is an expert in this area of CRE research, and she's going to be sharing her experiences with CRE as well as some of her research, and that'll be from 9:15 to 10:15. And then we have our second keynote speaker is Dr. Eric Meyer, 10:30 to 11:30. And Eric is the faculty that was selected this year, the award of the Presidential Colloquium Speaker Award. And that's an award that Dr. Modgill, when we started Research Day 11 years ago, he wanted to single out a faculty member who was demonstrating a high level of research expertise, as well as being a faculty member that was both nominated and then voted on by the respective college deans as worthy of the Presidential Colloquium Award. So yes, Eric is going to be our speaker this year, and we're very grateful, and congratulations, Eric. You deserve it.
Yes, thank you.
So tell me, Eric, a little bit about what you're going to be talking about on Friday. I know you work in LTU's biomechanics lab, where you have a whole bunch of sporting goods and various measurement tools. And you started out, I think, more or less studying the mechanics of sports injury and sports injury prevention. But more recently, you've been looking into wearable technologies. So if you would, please sort of describe your own research journey a little bit.
Yeah. We do have a batting cage in the biomechanics lab, so we can hit baseballs and do other things with the motion capture system to measure sports performance, and also look at how that relates to injury risk and training athletes. But I saw a lack of solutions when it came to preventing sports injuries like ACL injuries, which are very common and actually increasing. And I think the wearable technology allows a customized approach to track each individual person and give them custom recommendations for how to train, or, almost like a full body Fitbit, where you have some artificial intelligence giving you recommendations on how to protect yourself.
All right. And so what are you working on right now? What's the most recent thing you've been working on?
Well, for the talk, I want to make this interesting across the 4 colleges. So the topic is disruptive biotechnology. And I relate this to 100 years ago when Henry Ford's Model T disrupted the horse-drawn transportation systems with the first mass market automobile. And Lawrence Tech has a rich history with Ford. Originally, the Lawrence brothers started the university to focus on technology and to train the factory workers to become engineers. So I think that's our heritage. And I want to try to explain how that relates to biomedical engineering with the biotech revolution as one of the, interesting developments of the 21st century.
All right. Well, I've seen some science fiction where they talk about having nano robots in our bodies to repair things and fix things. I mean, is that where we're headed ultimately, or what do you think?
Yeah, there's, actually some interest in media, and you probably hear wellness podcasters talking about age extension and longevity and wellness issues, which, have been science fiction, but actually that biotechnology and gene engineering has a lot of applications beyond just vaccines and developing hormones like insulin to treat certain diseases.
Okay, back to you, Matt Cole. What's going to be happening in the afternoon then on Friday for Research Day?
Great. So, yep, after Eric's keynote address, we will, and that'll all be in S100. And by the way, this is open to the public. So we invite public to attend. You can just show up and come, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. So then at 11:30, we'll break for lunch and we'll move over to the Buell atrium, which is where our main cafeteria is. And in the atrium, then we're going to have 2 poster sessions from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and then from 2:30 to 4:30. And overlapping with the 2:30 to 4:30 poster session will be what we call our paper sessions, where we have in 3 different classrooms, we'll have brief 20-minute paper oral presentations by faculty and students who will give a sort of a longer presentation than the poster session. Although the poster session occurs in a 2-hour block, typically you walk among different posters and then the presenters give about a 2 to 3 minute sort of recap and brief summary of their research as they walk you through their poster.
So what do you think are some of the more interesting research that you've seen as you've seen these proposals come in?
Oh, there's some interesting thing. There's a poster on the toxicity of Axe deodorant spray.
Oh, tell that to teenage boys, right?
Yeah, right. We've got. I'm actually doing a poster on well-being at Lawrence Tech, between basically student mental health and their academic performance. So I find it very fascinating subject. And one.
Okay, Matt, you're breaking up there a little bit. So tell us again about your research poster.
Yeah, it's on well-being and the relationship between mental health and students and their academic performance. And I was going to say that's a very apropos subject matter, because we know that we need to do everything we can as educators to find ways to help students really be able to focus and do their best in the classroom. And the world around is very anxiety provoking. And so things that we can do to promote well-being, as well as things like grit and give them resources and a safe environment. So I've been studying that, and we're going to be presenting on that.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's really well represented, all four colleges. I think when people come, they'll be very impressed with the quality and quantity of research that we're presenting this year.
Yeah, let's talk about quantity a little bit, because I know Lawrence Tech, until fairly recently, was not really known as a research university. And that's very much on the mind of both our former president, Verinder Maudgil, and our current president, Tarek Soap. So tell me a little bit about the growth of research at LTU, why it's happening, and how it's happening.
Well, yeah, and Eric has helped me with this as well. But the aspiration is for us to progress beyond our current status to be an R2 institution, and R2 institutions are institutions that balance external funding, so faculty are being awarded grants and contracts and external money to support their research and bring it to society, as well as finding opportunities to create more doctoral granting programs. So in support of the research end, I think it's very exciting that we basically have a research day that represents almost a 50% growth from where we've been last year, and more representative research by our faculty and our graduate students, all in line with this sort of change in zeitgeist, our new philosophical approach that I think is very inspirational for folks. It's a little bit scary, but it's also very inspirational. It's highly motivating. And I think Eric is a prime example of where
I think the faculty have really increased the grant applications. So they're trying to go out and get more research funding. And not just for basic science research, but also for a lot of applied and even industrial sponsored research projects.
Yeah, I know I've seen a marked increase in what I've been hearing about research grants given to the university, both from private industry and both from the usually the National Science Foundation and occasionally the National Institutes of Health. Both of those fund a great deal of research in this country, and Lawrence Tech is getting an increasing share of that, and it's great to see.
We actually have a partnership with 30 companies and about 25 faculty from Lawrence Tech for the Wearable Technology Innovation Center. So we're hopeful that we'll get the funding to really accelerate that.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, Research Day, it's Friday, this Friday coming up, April 21st. Starts at 9 in the morning with a couple of keynote presentations. And then in the afternoon, there are poster sessions of research and also oral presentations of research from over 140 LTU students and faculty. And we've got a couple of high-quality high school research projects that are also being showcased at this event. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're wondering where to go to attend Research Day, just go to ltu.edu/map, and you can find both the Science Building and the Buell Building where most of the activities will be taking place.